Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. We're here in the system of Van Callen. We're here going to do some T5 Abyss in the Cerberus. In the Uprising expansion, I've mentioned this a lot, the Cerberus has been buffed. And it's added a great deal of ease to us doing Abyss sites in this because it's got a shield boost bonus. I've done a lot of tests so far on T4 sites, but I've not done a whole lot of tests on T5. And that's exactly what I'm going to be starting to get into. This is the fit that I've been using for T4 Darks and it's been working really well. It's got a Pith X type large shield booster. And it's just overall got a lot of tank, a lot of DPS, and I want to see if I can use the same ship in the T5s. We're going to start off with T5 Dark, and I think later I'm going to use T5 Exotic. So we'll check this out. Abyssal launch site. Let's get to work. Can reload. Now the Dark sites, I would say they're probably a little bit more friendlier to us than the Exotic sites. The Exotic sites, they're going to make us tank a little bit less because they're going to reduce our kinetic resistance, and they're also going to make enemies apply a bit better because the dark site reduces the optimal range of the turrets. So I think that the dark sites, which reduce the optimal range of turrets or enemy turrets and also increase our speed as well as not reducing resistance types, is going to aid us better in terms of tanking. It will however be a lot easier for us to do damage in the exotic sites, so I can imagine the exotic sites are going to be a very explosive experience. The reason I wanted to go for exotic sites later is actually because I was looking at the price of these dark filaments. And these chaotic darks are pretty expensive. I think they used to be a lot less. You can see here, 5 million. They've gone up to like 13 million almost here. The exotic sites are really good, and I didn't consider using them, but they're not that much more. They're 5 million-isk more than the dark sites, but one of the big reasons I like to run the dark sites is because they're very cheaper. They're not that cheap. They are good in terms of survivability, though, so that's a reason we're going to try it first. But later we're going to test out the chaotic exotic. Okay, let's jump into the chaotic dark. See if we can get by. Devoted Knight. Oh, these waves can be difficult. These waves can be difficult. Let's see now what comes first. Let's go for these guys. Go for Caldari Navy is a better choice, I think. Come on, Caldari Navy. And we'll pull a bit of range. Just draw out some of these frigates first, and then we'll lock up those Devoted Knights as well. Cruisers do the most amount of damage. So I'm not going to go into that blue cloud because that's going to be like a best case scenario. I can't always assume I've got a blue cloud here to help me out. We're going to cruise around a bit. Should be alright like this. And like, this is the great thing about the dark side. You see how these guys, they're actually getting in range. The Devoted Knights usually are able to do damage at this range, but the dark side reduces the optimal range. So we're actually able to not take any damage from the cruisers at all. We're not even shield boosting. You can see that. We're just going with our passive tank and barely taking any damage at all. Just this lookout. Take out anything that's close, really. These waves can hit hard. They do EM damage. We don't have so high EM resist. But I think that it's pretty easy in the dark side when we've got this range because we can kite them very easily. Fishes could be good to take out, actually, because they can web us, I believe. Let's go for them. We'll go for people that are close to us. Soon I think the cruisers will start doing damage. They're getting closer and closer. They are pretty quick, these guys. But we also destroyed a lot of them too. Go for the bind after the cash. Are we able to web? Can we web? Let's get some webs going on. There we go. Look, we do so much more damage with the web. 1k volley, boom. I think it's also because the shields went down as well on that guy. Okay, we probably should go for the knights now. And this is also where we boost our shields. See, we tank so good tank we've got with that shield boost bonus and this Pith X type large shield booster. Let's go for this Devoted Knight. We'll just go straight in because we want to get most amount of damage with the Webifier. I don't know if it makes a big difference using the Webifier since they are cruisers, but I think it makes a tiny bit extra difference because we've got Caldari Navy now. Not sure, maybe it would be just better to go with Rage. Oh, we already got this equipped and we seem to be doing a decent amount of damage now. What is our damage? 553 DPS. It's not a whole lot, actually. Could consider to go for Rage, actually. Let's go for Rage to see if there's a big difference. Could be good to know as well for the future. So we did 600 volleys in the shields, and those are the biggest HP pool. We'll see if 600 volleys can be exceeded with the Rage. It won't be a good representation. You see we've got 1.4k, but that's because he had Structure left. Structure doesn't have a whole lot of resists in these NPC, so it's going to do more. Yeah, okay, look at that. Already 800 damage, and we didn't even use the web. 800. Okay, now we've got the web going on. 800 volley. Okay, so it is better to use rage on these hunters actually. Well, these knights, I mean. That's good to see. Great. Cerberus is powerful. It's mighty. Oh, a bit closer. We're going out to web range now. You can see that they just melt when their shields are down. Nothing they can do to stop us. Let's deploy drones and go for the bi-adaptive cache, actually. Okay, everyone up. That's good to see. We got through the Sancho web. The cinema web can pose some problems as well, especially if it's a very deadly one with lots of elites. It's probably going to be the most difficult wave because of the damage types it does. Let's go for these frigates. We apply so well, even though we're using rage on frigates. Oh, look at that, 35 million ISK. Chaotic exotics, chaotic gammas. Decent amount, decent amount. What do we get? Chaotic gamma? I've got another chaotic dark. We had already a chaotic exotic in our cargo hold, so that's some good loot drops we've got going on. Wish I could get that in our T0 to T6 Abyss series because it's not been going too well recently. Okay, let's destroy this hunter. I'm barely having to do any boosting. I'm just passively tanking them because they miss so many of their shots. And keep at range 500. There we go. For the devoted lookout. Maybe deploy our drones just to get some extra damage. I don't think we'll apply too well though because of the short range of these drones naturally, and then plus the dark side is going to make them even shorter. So you're going to have a hard time hitting. Yeah, you can see it missing, missing, missing. Always missing. They'll occasionally get one shot in, but they can also die because the NPCs can also decide to attack them. Oh, we've got a lot of volleys there. Look at that, we're suddenly applying a lot. We must have stopped or reduced the speed suddenly. Okay, go for this one. Torchbearer. Come on, Torchbearer, go down. Great. Come on. Yeah, that can be good. We'll reload to Caldari Navy to have that first so that we can apply really well to everything. What do we have? Oh, it took a bit of time to get through that wave actually. 6 minutes. That was a bit of time, but it was a survivable time though. Charybdis. Okay, this should be pretty easy considering we're in the dark sides. You also switch over to rage. Deploy drones. Go down a bit. We'll do a line out here, and maybe not 100 kilometers. Let's take out all the entanglers. The null charges. They're pretty horrible Scyllas we've got here. These Scylla Tyrants have a lot of bad E1 newts, plus the entanglers is not a good combination because you're going to get stuck in place and you get neuted out. But we should be able to take them out before stuff goes haywire. Or not. Look at that, we're already getting neuted out. We can chill a little bit with our shield booster. Because the more of these Webifiers we destroy, the less shield boosting we have to use, and the less capacity we have to use. But the more newts we take out, the more shield boosting we can use. So I think it's good to take out the webs though, because they will make it so that it's just generally easier, we'll have less incoming damage. Oh, we're taking a lot of damage now. Ooh, a little bit to the side. Side. There we go. Just a little bit to the side. Got a very beefy capacitor when we don't use the shield booster. We have like I think it's 40 gigajoules to spare if we don't use any shield boosting. You can check here. 54 even. That's how much gigajoules we have to spare without using the shield booster. So this shield booster uses a lot of shields, or a lot of capacitor, but it provides a lot of shields though. It's a very powerful shield booster. It's maybe not the most efficient one. The more efficient shield boosters tend to be the GIST ones. They give more shields per capacitor, I believe, but they also give a little bit less absolute amount of shield per second. I think if we use the GIST one, we'll have so much capacity to spare that I think that we'll be missing out a lot of potential shield boosting we could have used in an emergency situation. In some cases you want to just be able to use everything you can for a short amount of time until you've cleared the critical DPS so you can survive. Okay, so this Charybdis Tyrannos room seems to have gone pretty quick. Can even get the drones working on Charybdis over here. Have the drones go for him. Let's see, there we go. Got the web as well, that's great. And see if we can get the bioadaptive cache. Can approach Charybdis. And here we're going to get full damage, that's great. Full DPS. Got 11 minutes left, and another room. Charybdis is at full shields. I think he'll be alright. The incoming damage has not been too bad. We've got Charybdis, we've got Sancha. They're both pretty difficult waves. They can be horrible, especially if Charybdis was to land a wrecking shot. That can actually be quite fatal. No, I think we'll survive that because we've got enough buff, but I think we might go into armor. There's a possibility that we might go into armor if we take a wrecking shot from Charybdis. I don't want to orbit actually, I want to keep range. That's better because then it'll sort of push Charybdis towards the gate. If we move over here.
A module has run out of charges.
And then we can sort of keep range and have Charybdis keep going towards this. You see the origin gate over there? Move up a bit. Move up a bit. Have the parting vector go up a bit. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Soon we'll want to go and keep range. Soon. There we go. Now keep range, 10 kilometers. Keep range. I've mixed up keep range and orbit in PvP and it's been fatal. Once I was thinking I was attacking a Gila, I decided to like, oh, I'm just going to orbit whilst keeping range. No, just full damage was taken. I was not moving at all. So it's important to choose the right commands. As you could see here, I did choose the wrong command. I probably should have moved towards the bioadaptive cache because Charybdis is almost destroyed. What's the time left? 9 minutes 40 seconds. We actually almost destroyed Charybdis in like 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. Pretty speedy Charybdis destruction. Let's go and reload missiles. The drones are going to be able to take out that bioadaptive cache. They're so bad at attacking stuff in the dark side because they just go too fast. They got too short range, so they just keep on slingshotting around the target and not really able to do full damage. And it's a bit annoying that we've got the drones taking damage from the negative Autosmasa suppressor as well. We'll get a bit closer. I wonder what next wave we'll get. But so far seems like we're pretty tough. Pretty tough actually. Open this up. 11 million of raw survey data. It's a decent amount of loot considering that we've only got raw survey data. I forgot to mention that we've also got boosters we could use. I've not felt that we need to use them so far. We can actually have them available here in the inventory if we just make the menu a little bit smaller. Booster. We just went like this. I don't need to have that. There we go. Okay, so this is a cinnabar room. Let's try going for this elite Lucifer. See how that goes. There's a lot of these Dramiels, which can pose problems. But only selectively shield boost. Orbit close. And then we'll also lock up all these elite Lucifers. I'm not sure if we're getting good application because 400 damage is very low. Probably should switch over to Caldari Navy because of how little application we've got. But we're tanking like a boss. Look at that. Tanking really well. That's great to see. Let's go now. There we go. Get some damage. Okay, 416 and 1. It was a bit better. I think a tiny bit better than Rage. But it's good because then we're already ready with the right ammunition for the Lucifer Dramiels later. We can recall drones since they're taking a bunch of damage. Oh, that guy took a lot of damage though on the way in. We need to make our way towards the bioadaptive cache actually. I think we can just face tank this. Oh, we didn't even need to use boosters. But we've not got a whole lot of Cinnabals. They do a lot of damage, the Cinnabals. A lot of EM damage from those Dramiels actually. So that's good, a big test of our EM resistance. And our neuting, or newt resistance. But we only had one Cinnabal neuting. There could have been a lot more. And then it'll be a lot more difficult. Let's move towards this bioadaptive cache. We can actually deactivate the booster. So that we can save a bit of capacity and only use it when we need to. We get low shields. Look at those webs. Like, if you're in a Cinnabal room, you can't move. You're stuck in place. We can even boost up a bit. We probably should go for that Ixion actually, because he's doing some guidance disruptors on us. Come on, take out that Dremiel. It's hard when you got a lot of guidance disruptors playing into effect on us. Okay, let's get close to that Ixion. We can get a bit closer. Ooh, move. Yeah, and that's a lot nicer seeing 500 volleys. And I think Ixion's also a bit weaker than Cinnabar, so we're able to get through them pretty quickly. So we'll get rid of those guidance disruptors, and then we'll hopefully be able to apply to these Dremiels a bit better. Now go for the Bioadaptive Cache of 450. I think it's also being affected by this Diva Automatus Press as well, shooting down a few of our missiles. We're getting some volleys now. That elite Dremiel felt like it was going down a lot quicker. Yeah, 400 volley, that's good to see. Come on, take out that elite Lucifer and Dremiel. Destroyed. Good. Now for the other one. After Hornet, go for this Bioadaptive Cache. Open up this cache here. Let's see what kind of loot we find. That's pretty cool. We found a Cinnabar room and a Sancha room all in the same site. Though it wasn't a particularly difficult Cinnabar room because we only found one Cinnabar and a bunch of Dremiels. The more difficult Cinnabar rooms are the ones with mass elite Lucifers. Those are the ones that are the most difficult. What armor type do we have? Caldari. Yeah. So we got Abyssal loot and 61 million. Okay. That's a pretty decent amount of loot. When you take into account the filament price of 30 million, it obviously becomes a lot less. T4 is very cheap. Let's go for this Dremiel. And these Echoes. These Echoes do so hard webs and scrams, you are not able to move with these guys on the grid. That's easy. Look how quickly we destroy that Echo just straight away. And we could have got a lot more loot if we had gone for them extraction notes, because we only went for Bioadaptives here. Could potentially be a lot more. I think 80 million is a more usual number I get for T5s. And no gankers, thankfully. So, the Cerberus finished this T5 Dark very smoothly. I was very impressed with how much we were able to tank in the various waves. They could be more difficult waves, but we still did take a decent amount of punishment from all those Dremiels, and the Charybdis Tyrannus was hitting us in the face with all those webs and newts, plus the Sancha as well. It felt pretty safe. So, I mean, I could see this being a T5 Dark run. We have to do more tests, obviously, but I think that'll be very fun. We'll probably test T5 Exotic next, because the benefit of T5 Exotic is it won't be very fast due to the reduced resist profile of kinetic, but then also the enemies being a little bit slower, so we'll be able to apply better, but it will also make us take a bit more damage, so we'll see if it actually is going to feel great, or it will maybe feel not so great. We'll see. So T5 Dark Cerberus, pretty cheap fare as well, considering that it's doing T5, 630 million I believe the price was. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.